For the spouse visa, how long does it take to get processed?
That's another great question. Let me get out my crystal ball. Processing time questions have always been the most difficult for us to answer because nobody really knows. And I know that there are people online who, will tell you a very specific answer and say that, that they know because for whatever reason. But the reality is, you know, the immigration, the government's data itself is usually not very reliable as far as processing times. We can have cases that we file for the same country on the same day, and they can sometimes turn out months different as far as processing time. So it's just really hard to tell. What I can tell you is that on average for many countries in the world, it also varies by country because it depends on how many people are waiting for interviews in that particular country. There are some countries where the wait times for spouse visa interviews would be, a month or two, and other places where it's over a year. Like it has been in Mexico for people going through Ciudad Juarez before the pandemic. It was already a year of wait time, even before all this stuff. So kind of what we had seen on average before the pandemic was about a year, year and a half from starting to being able to get the person into the country, as long as you were in a country that didn't have a super backlogged embassy. And now with the pandemic, I mean, the embassies have been essentially closed since March. So we could sort of assume that they have at least a backlog of however many months until they open. So I would take a year and a half plus that time, and then that's kind of how I'd estimate on an individual case. So that was a long answer for I don't know, and we're kind of just going to have to wait and always focus on what we can do, what you can do individually in your case to try to move it forward, make sure you're ready for future steps and have any documents you think you're going to need in hand, so that you're just waiting on the government and then you're taking action quickly yourself, and then waiting on the government some more. Unfortunately, I know it can be tough.
All right, yeah, thanks for that. I know it's maybe not a straightforward answer, but it's something that's changing, and hopefully things open up and start to get more back to normal.
Yeah, and I think it's important for people to understand too that a lot of the processing times and things like that do depend on who's in charge of the immigration system. Previously, a few years ago, it was common to do spouse visas in like 8 or 9 months total, and now that just seems like mind-blowing because we haven't been seeing that at all. But that really used to be the norm for many years, and so it is completely possible that there's sort of some shifts politically and someone else is in charge of it and actually wants to fix the problem, and things could get kind of straightened out. So we just don't know what's going to happen next, and I think optimism will keep us alive for now.